Hello my friends, this is our 9th and last video on athletic ability using vibrational astrology. What I'm going to show you in this last video in this series is some additional research we did in building this model. The best way to think of this research that we're doing is it's model building. What we do is we look at charts, we try to find consistent patterns, we test our ideas, as you'll see in this case, we start doing some statistical tests to see if things are really showing up the way we think they are. We have a lot of different research tools to refine our understanding of exactly how this works. Eventually, it'll lead to what we call a hypothesis test, where we'll state a hypothesis and test it. But the way the research is done is to build our understanding to the point where we can develop a hypothesis test that will come out positive. And there are ways to find out how astrology really works in addition to anecdotal evidence. What most of us do in astrology, we do charts of friends and family, we see if it makes sense, and that's as far as we go. Anecdotal evidence is great. It gives you a real visceral, tangible feeling for things. But these research tools really help accelerate your understanding to a whole new level when you combine it with your anecdotal evidence. So what we did here is we went through the Sirius 2.0 software for golfers. We just go into the research and we say, give me golfers, and give me golfers with AA data. I show this in other research videos on how to use the research features, but there are a huge number, over 80,000 charts included in the Sirius software, over 20,000 with AA accuracy. There are 45 golfers in the database with AA accuracy. We can study that. 45 is enough to get some ideas. And what I did in this case is I used what's called the artificial intelligence feature in Sirius. Let me show that part to you. Okay, here I'm in the Sirius software. I've got it zoomed in at some ridiculous size to make a pretty background for you. So just give me a second here. I'll shrink the program, and there, now you can see it. Okay, let me just make this a little bit prettier. There we go. All right, so I'm in the Sirius 2.0 software, and I'm going to go to Research, and I'm going to click on AstroSignature Research. And what I did is I made an AstroSignature for athletic ability. It's probably in here. Oh, here it is. Golf aspects. First attempt. Not good. Skip this. This is the names I gave to these AstroSignatures. Then I worked on it some more, and I got golfers improved. So let's look at it. We can go into Customize and view this AstroSignature. So here's an AstroSignature for predicting golf talent. I'll cancel out of it. I'll show you my first attempt at it. So I just am using this AstroSignature feature in Sirius software. I start listing things that I think I see in golfers. What did I see in Tiger Woods' chart, Jack Nicklaus's chart? So I list those things, and then I just run the research. I just go over here and I select a category. I select a more specific category. I go to athletes. I go to golfers, which are in here somewhere. There they are. I click OK, and then over here I can say, give me only AA accuracy. I'm doing this very quick, just to give you an idea. And then I say, begin the analysis. And it produces some results. I can save those. I run it again for, say, musicians, some group that has nothing to do with golf. And then I can actually run a t-test. Right there, t-test. And I can use the artificial intelligence feature, which, I said yes, it's going to go into this very slow analysis. I'll tell it to stop. And then it gives me some results of what it found for each of my, each item in my list. So each of these items, it'll analyze and see how good each one works. Amazing research features. I don't expect you to follow everything I said, but what you can follow is that we have research features to to create a formula. We call it an AstroSignature for how to predict, to indicate whether someone will be a good golfer, and then we can test it against golfers, we can test it against some other group, we can actually do what are called t-tests to compare. So I did that. And we came up with an AstroSignature where if Sun and Mars, Sun and Jupiter, Mars and Jupiter are in the 35th harmonic, or these planets are in the 7th or 77th, so all 7, 35, and 77th harmonics, and we can give a certain emphasis, so we think Sun, Jupiter, and Mars, Jupiter. So Sun, Mars, and Jupiter aspecting each other in 35 really gives you talent in golf. And then we compare that to musicians, and it is statistically significant. So these are steps in building a model to test the ideas, to see if they're really different. We also tried it for tennis players. So what I did is there are 119 tennis players in the database. So it's more data. I'm likely to get some better results. And I came up with a simpler formula. So I think my formula for tennis players is better. It's simpler. I'm only using harmonics 7 and 35. I'm using similar planets, all power planets, of course. I give them the same strength, and now I get statistical significance of 0.02 compared to musicians. So I'm building a model and showing that the model really does distinguish non-golfers, like any other random group such as musicians, compared to golfers. We're building a formula that works, and then it can be tested on new data to see if it really works with new data. So we combine this numerical analysis with looking at the charts. When I look at the chart of Wayne Gretzky or any of them, Muhammad Ali or whoever it is, I want to see if I can feel that person in the chart, the way that they play, their personality, their talent. So when I do research, I don't just do number crunching like I'm a computer or something. I like to go in and feel and sense the charts, but then I also like to go in and see how well my formula is working. So what's happening with vibrational astrology is that we're moving astrology to a whole new level, a level that some astrologers don't even think is possible. We're using ways to understand astrology that perhaps some astrologers don't even think is that important, but by combining our intuition, our feeling for people, make sure that those extreme people really have these things in our chart, develop a model, and then test it with this AstroSignature feature, and we see that it works. And then if our ideas continue to look good, then we can do a hypothesis test where we'll compare data. Now we're doing research on forecasting when an athlete will perform better. What's exciting about this is we have tons of data to test. So I can't tell you how exciting this is. I mean, I don't know how to emphasize how exciting this is, that we're really making breakthroughs in understanding the details of how astrology works. We're confirming it and validating it. It's very exciting. I think the door is opening for astrology to begin to be used by sports teams, athletic teams. The number of applications are enormous. I think once some of the business people in these areas realize the potential that we're developing a real tool, something that actually works, quite different from anything that's done before, a whole new world is opening up. So this is part of the research we're doing. Now, if this is so great, if this is so wonderful, if astrology really works in ways that even astrologers sometimes don't believe is possible, why was this not discovered before? Well, first of all, you have to have extremely accurate planet positions. When you're up in these high harmonics, any inaccuracy gets multiplied. Well, nowadays, all the astrology software programs have extreme accuracy as a result of the hard work of the people at Astro.com who develop these routines, which are extremely accurate. Number two, many people have a philosophical assumption that astrology does not work, or doesn't work this way, or that minor aspects, so they can't work, or all these things are too far-fetched, so they're not really open or interested in looking at it. we need to have data. The current version of Sirius, version 2.0, current as of the time I'm making this video, has over 80,000 charts. Almost all the online Astro Databank data is included in the software. The research tools are unbelievably well developed to enable you to do this work. It all takes time. I myself don't have much time. I make these tutorial videos on weekends. I do the research usually on weekends because I've got a day job, just like most of you do. I'm writing the software that our users want and are requesting, and then I spend any free time I can find researching astrology. So I just do nothing but astrology day in and day out. But this is what's involved. I don't have grants or lots of money or time, just like most of you don't. And a fourth reason why these discoveries have not been made is just understanding the details. I've been working at this for over 40 years, and some of the original insights came when I interviewed thousands of people in the 1970s. I've read hundreds of astrology books, learned from hundreds of other astrologers. It all just takes time, builds. I've built upon the work of other people. The computer technology is absolutely essential to make this possible. So this is why this is all becoming, why it's all getting discovered now, is that all the pieces of the puzzle are finally in place. And if people are open and willing to these methods and these concepts in astrology, and maybe other people will find other concepts in astrology also work, but it's the vibrational astrology concepts that we see working so well, helping us identify who has talent, and the project we're on now is predicting when they will perform better, and this is really exciting, going to yet another level. So that's it, my friends. And just as a little addendum here, here's a formal description of the Athletic Ability AstroSignature that we developed. I've already described this. You can pause this video if you want to and read this, but we did define clearly, what that formula is as we understand it at this point. As we do more research, that formula will get more and more precise and be better and better at distinguishing who is an athlete from who is not an athlete. And if you want, you can look at zodiac signs, you can look at house placements, you can look at rulers, and see if that will also work. All the research tools are in the Sirius 2.0 software to allow you to discover those things and see if you can improve the formula using any ideas from any any theoretical system, whether it's ancient Western or modern or what have you. Okay, my friends, well, that's it. A series of 9 videos on how we determine who has talent in athletics. We're making progress. We're starting to figure this out. And we feel confident that with enough time and enough energy, we will be able to validate ideas through what are called hypothesis tests. It's a lot of work. The models are getting better. We're getting there. It's very exciting to see all these details getting figured out. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Namaste.